Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Steve Backlund here from Redding, California. Yes, glad to be with you. Here it's Monday morning, November 15th, here in Redding, and we're starting 2 weeks. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be 2 weeks of us emphasizing our new book, The Culture of Empowerment, business and organizational version. And we wrote an original book maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago, about 6 years, The Culture of Empowerment. And it's how to champion people. It takes the concept of my goal is not to build a big organization, a big church, but it's to build big people. It's to build big people. And some who are watching right now, even the live, you've already read the original book. Some of you did. We did a launch of the course in ebook form this summer with my brother Phil, Dr. Phil. He's the other Dr. Phil. He's Dr. Phil Backlund. And we did that in the summer, but right now we're at a place where we're really being convinced that we need, as we launch the book and we get it available to everybody, we're convinced that we need to take some time and talk about it and really share the heart behind the book. And I believe also just to get the message out, because there's such a need right now. There's always a need, but there's a need right now for healthy leadership, for leadership that is not just concerned about getting a task done, not just concerned about a goal or a vision being accomplished, not just using people to accomplish the leader's vision, but to also build people, to be concerned about the development of people. And so we're thrilled to be able to do this. Henry Para on our team, he's going to be on the chat today, those who are on watching live, and just helping facilitate this. We know many of you are watching the recording of it, and we are thrilled that you're with us. Some of you, maybe this is your first time that you've connected with something happening here from Igniting Hope Ministries. And we have an assignment to ignite hope. Hope is the belief that the future will be better than the present, and I have the power to help make it so. And I believe after love, hope is the most powerful leadership, influential quality that there is. That our hope level determines our influence level, and here is the most hope is the most influence. And it's very difficult to influence that which you do not have hope for. Whether it's ourselves, or there's people in our life, a nation, or whatever. And as we talk about the culture of empowerment, and I'll share a little more about what that is and what it isn't in a moment. But as we talk about that hope is the underlying foundation for a culture of empowerment. Because hope, we have hope for people. There's a belief that they're uniquely created, they're uniquely designed. They have gifts, they have skills in them, they have gold in them. And so thank you for joining me for this. And if you've been a part of our Igniting Hope family for a while, then just really during these 2 weeks of where we're going to be using this Facebook platform this week and the first 3 days of next week to talk about the culture of empowerment, to talk about the book, to talk about the course, and to get the message out, and just pray with us about it. If there's people that you're aware of that you think would benefit by these concepts, and you're looking for a place to send them to if they want more detailed information, please do. Yes, thank you so much. And we're going to be doing a discount on the book for the next 2 weeks, 40% off on Amazon, and that is being put in the chat. We're putting a discount also on our course, a 12-week course that goes with the book, The Culture of Empowerment, Business and Organizational Version. It's going to be 50% off on that during these 2 weeks. So we're excited about just making it even more affordable for people, and also just flooding it out there. So really today is just an introduction to the Culture of Empowerment book and the e-course. And you think about what is a culture of empowerment. Well, let me just ask you this. Have you been championed by somebody? Have you had a leader in your life, or a parent, or somebody who has believed in you more than you believe in yourself? And their belief in you caused you to rise up and do things that you never thought you could do. And those people in your life helped identify giftings, helped identify what you're good at, and also provided opportunities for you under their leadership to begin to exercise and to begin to use those things. And their words, their structures that they created, their feedback caused you to be empowered to do, again, what you didn't think you could do, and go beyond. I share a story in the book that's very meaningful to me. And as a senior in high school, I was battling self-doubt. I didn't really have a lot of people in my life who identified what was good about me. I had a lot of people sharing what was negative. My friends would tell me my faults, my physical defects when I did something stupid. And there was a lot of disempowerment around me by just the cultures and people that I was around. And I had a government teacher when I was a senior in high school, and she came up to me and she said, "Steve, I see that you would be good in government and politics." And it was a very brief conversation. But something clicked in me. Something, I thought somebody sees something good in me. Somebody is not just focusing on what's wrong with me, but is focused on what's right with me. And that's really one of the basis of a culture of empowerment, is you have people around you who are focused primarily on what's right with you rather than what's wrong with you. And so she said that, and it did something in me. It stirred me, and because of that, the next year when I went to college, I majored in political science, all because of one comment that was made to me. It empowered me. I remember when I was on church staff, or no, I wasn't. I was just part of a church as a young 20-year-old in Northern California, and my pastor saw things in me, and he brought me in to sit in on leadership team meetings before I felt like I was ready. He asked me in those meetings, "Steve, what do you think? What do you think?" He gave me opportunities to contribute. Hey, share a Bible verse here in this meeting. And it was before I felt like I was ready for that. And yet he empowered me. It wasn't just about me being a slave to his vision and his purpose, what he felt like the goals were, but there was an empowerment that happened to me in that. And and when I failed or I didn't do it well, there wasn't a giving up on me. There was a continued working with me, and even many things that I'm doing today are the result of that, his belief in me. And so as we think about culture of empowerment, and you know what it isn't, a culture of empowerment is not just saying, wow, I'm just going to empower everybody. I'm going to let everybody around me do things, and I'm not going to be a one-man show in this. I'm going to, it's not just, it goes beyond delegation, because delegation is certainly good where we're not doing everything. You know, as we grow in leadership and as we grow in that area of our life, we certainly, just for the sake of time, for the sake of wanting to, just for our own sanity, we delegate lesser responsibilities so that we as the leader can focus on greater responsibilities. And that's wise. But empowerment goes beyond simply delegation, because empowerment has a heart connection to it, has a component in it where we're actually connected to the person, and we're looking for what's actually in them, what are the giftings, and it's focused on training and it's developing them as a person versus just having them do something for our organization. Now, even as I'm talking today and sharing these things, and I want to interact here in a moment just with those who are on the live, even as I'm talking today, we realize that our nations so much are looking for leaders that have the best interest of the people they're leading in mind. Looking for leaders who have the best interests of the people in mind. Who would doubt that Jesus was a great leader? I mean, he said this. He said that leadership is not lording it over people, but he said the greatest of you will become the servant of all. The greatest of you will become the servant of all. And some who would hear that would say, wow, that sounds wishy-washy. That sounds like that's not going to get anything done. That sounds like weak leadership. But no, it's serving the dreams of people. It's serving what has been placed in them. And that is what Jesus called great leadership. Certainly in a culture of empowerment, there's in organizations, businesses, there's times where we need to let people go, where they need to be fired, where, but how we even do that is going to be different, because there's still a heart for people. Just looking in the chat, yep, it's love the comments here. And yeah, Henry, you say Jesus was a great empowering leader. That's the understatement of the of the century. He was. He was a great empowering leader. And he just, I mean, his plan to change the world was this. I mean, certainly his death and resurrection was the key, but his plan also included him getting 12 people around him, 12 disciples, and spending time with them, not just giving them things to do, but spending times with them, and they became empowered. They became empowered to do what they never thought they could do. David in the Old Testament, he had, in 1 Samuel 22, he had 400 men gathered to him, everybody in debt, distress, and discontent, and then they became mighty men. And there's something about just them being with David that they got empowered to do what they never thought they could do. Oh my. And so just even now I'm thinking as something, what can you do? Because I want to give you a takeaway. I want to give you a takeaway for today of something that you can apply. And so as we even talk about empowerment and we think about the culture of empowerment, we mainly think of people in a leadership setting. And certainly it's what we're focusing on. But empowering leaders are empowering people. It comes from a heart for people. You don't just you don't just go into a leadership situation and say, yep, now I'm empowering. No, you do it in your lifestyle. You live as an empowering person. Now, by the way, if you have a question for me today or something, great to see Ron Jordan on here, Doyle, yes, Mineral Wells, Texas. Allison, good to have you on here. If you got a question for me on this, please ask. But so I want you to just, I've got basically 2 assignments here for you today. I love to make declarations because when we speak out loud what is really true about us, it causes us to hear it. Faith comes by hearing, the Bible says, and then we start believing it, and then it starts happening. I want you to declare this, and even as an assignment, say it 5 times. Say it more than 5 times for the radicals in there. Here, say, I am a high-level empowering person and empowering leader. I am a high-level empowering person and empowering leader. That is number 1 of what I would like to activate you in that. Number 2, I want you to note the people in your life, and I want you to ask the question, what do I like about them? What do I like about them? Now, that's a powerful question because if we are focusing on what's right with people rather than what's wrong with people, the default of an empowering leader is to focus on what's right with people rather than what's wrong with people. And when you ask the question, what do I like about that person? And then take the next step to verbalize it to them and become a verbalizer to people around you about what you like about them, then that is going to start you on the road of being an empowering person. I know I'm talking to empowering people already, but it's going to take you higher. So that's number 2. All right, so a couple questions here. By the way, if you just jumped on, hey, we're doing 2 weeks we're emphasizing the culture of empowerment. New book written with my brother Phil, and it's called the Culture of Empowerment Business and Organization Edition. We're so excited about this. We've got a 40% off on Amazon in the next 2 weeks because we want to get this book out there. And we have a course on the Igniting Hope platform, a 12-week online course, 3 hours a week that uses this book, the new version, and that's 50% off in the next 2 weeks. And so just the questions here. Questions, I like it. Christopher, thank you. What does empowerment look like when the other person has yet to see their own value? Well, and that is our role when we help people see their value. Even the question that I just said, what do I like about this person? That question itself starts to help them understand their value. We all battle with insecurity. We all battle with negative comparison. We compare ourselves to others, whether it's our abilities, our appearance, our situation in life. And so as we begin to tell people, you've got this gift, I see this on you, this is a unique thing, you're important, and we become a great encourager, then that is empowerment. Sabrina, great to have you on here. How does authenticity play into empowerment? Well, that's a good question, because authenticity, and even in when I speak about my message of hope, of victorious mindsets, I share my own struggle in embracing my own message. I share my own struggle in embracing my own message. And I talk about how even in my own empowerment leadership, how I've done some things wrong, and the authenticity that I'm not just the expert, but that I struggle with the same things. Everybody struggles with the same things. And that authenticity gives hope and gives permission for people to grow and not be perfectionistic in the environment. Now, let me see if there's any other questions here. Jens, thanks for joining us. Those are so good. Are so good. Now, I love, Sabrina, you put it's a decision to think and see through God's perspective about people's circumstances and ourselves. And I'm going to begin to wrap this up. Elaine, I love it. You said we can never underestimate the power of encouragement. And empowering people or encouraging people. Empowering people use their words to empower. And the book has a chapter on empowering beliefs, empowering language. That's a great comment. Yeah, Sabrina. And this is a book we think about doing it as a team. I would say the core team. I mean, if you do it with your core team, it's great. That is going to help you set a standard. It's going to help set a standard of what it is. And so this book, again, the new version, what is empowerment is chapter 1, empowering beliefs, chapter 2, and being an empowering person, chapter 3. Next chapter, empowering language, then establishing a culture of empowerment in your organization. choosing who to empower and when. Chapter 7, increasing the likelihood of being empowered by others. Do's and don'ts. This is a very practical book. Working with and empowering people from other cultures. Empowering meetings, part 1. Empowering meetings, part 2. Empowering others through listening. Empowering leaders in public speaking. Empowering others through managing conflict effectively. And empowering ways to work with challenging people. Wow, wow, wow. How can you benefit by the book and the course? Listen, it's all about relationships. It's all about our own relationship with God, with people. This book is going to help you be more fulfilled in your relationship, fulfilled in yourself, because it's going to create healthier relationships. And it's also going to give you the satisfaction of becoming a catalyst in people's lives. So just as I close today, and thank you so much for being on here, giving you a couple assignments. There's a declaration in there. There's the question to ask throughout this week about the key people in your lives. What do I like about them? And again, it starts with the people closest to us. We are an empowering person, because what do I like about them? We begin to identify the strengths in people's lives, and we begin to be a catalyst in that and encourage it, because people very rarely have people who take interest in them. And then another question to ask, you could ask those people, as you want to go deeper, what are the dreams that you have in your life? What, if money wasn't an object, if time wasn't, what are the dreams that you have? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Well, we're going to be on all week. And Henry, maybe you can put in the chat who's going to be up, if you have that in the schedule, and who will be on for the rest of the week. And I'm going to be on, our team's going to be on, and it's going to be 2 weeks of great emphasis on this culture of empowerment. And I believe that there's a whole new wave of leadership. There's a whole new happening that's going to happen in our businesses, in our organizations, in our families, in our churches, where leaders are going to see the gold in people. And that's what I want to close with. When we were pastoring a church in Round Mountain, Nevada in the 90s, they had a gold mine, and they moved hundreds of tons of dirt a day, but nobody talked about dirt. All they talked about was gold. And people won't mind you moving the dirt in their life as long as they know you're looking for gold in them. People won't mind you moving the dirt in their life as long as they know you're looking for gold in them and you believe there's gold in them. All right. Hey, thanks. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. We'll be on back tomorrow. Blessings to you. You are an empowering person. You are an empowering leader. You see the gold in people and cause people to become what they never thought they could become. Bless you much. Thank you.